It's 2 a.m. that a cargo ship is moving silently across open water. No signals, no warnings. Then suddenly, stop, identify yourself. The crew freezes. Out of the darkness, U.S. Navy warships. No war declared, no global headlines, but in that moment, everything has already changed. Because this isn't something officially announced. It's something that can happen without ever being called what it really is. So think about it. If control can be enforced without the word blockade ever being used, then what's actually happening out there? And the real question is, how close has the world already come to this? What is a blockade really? When people hear the word blockade, they imagine warships surrounding a country, cutting off supplies, forcing surrender, and historically, that's not far from the truth. A blockade is usually considered an act of war under international law. But in modern politics, things are rarely that simple. Instead of calling it a blockade, governments often use softer terms like maritime security operation, sanctions enforcement, naval interdiction. Different words, but sometimes very similar actions. And that's where things start to get complicated. What Trump actually proposed during his presidency and political campaigns, Donald Trump spoke strongly about tightening control over borders and trade routes. In some discussions, particularly around illegal trafficking and national security, there were mentions of using military resources to monitor or restrict movement. But here's the key point. These ideas were not officially implemented as full-scale blockades. Instead, they remained part of broader strategies involving border enforcement, anti-smuggling operations, economic sanctions. So when people say Trump's blockade, they're often referring to a potential or hypothetical escalation, not an actual declared naval blockade. But here's where it gets serious. If such an order were ever given, would the U.S. military actually carry it out? Or are there limits, even for the most powerful military in the world? Can the president order this? The U.S. president is the commander-in-chief of the military. That means they can direct military operations. But they don't have unlimited power. For something as serious as a blockade, Congress may need to be involved. International laws come into play. Allies and global reactions matter. A true blockade could be interpreted as an act of war, and that changes everything. Because once it crosses that line, it's no longer just policy. It's global conflict territory. The military's role. The U.S. military doesn't just follow orders blindly. They operate under legal frameworks, rules of engagement, international agreements. If ordered to enforce something like a blockade, they would likely frame it as security patrols, interdiction missions, inspection operations, not an outright blockade in name, even if the effect feels similar. And that distinction matters, because it helps avoid triggering international escalation. But here's the part most people don't think about. Even a limited operation can spiral out of control. One mistake, one miscalculation, and suddenly, it's not just enforcement anymore. If the U.S. were to enforce something resembling a blockade, trade routes could be disrupted, prices could rise globally, tensions with other nations could spike. And in today's interconnected world, no action happens in isolation. Even a controlled operation can trigger reactions from allies, rivals, international organizations. And once that chain reaction starts, it's very hard to stop. So here's the reality. The idea of a U.S. military-backed blockade isn't just about ships and borders. It's about power, law, and global stability. And while it may sound like a strong move on the surface, the risks behind it are massive. Because the moment a nation uses its military to control movement on that level, it sends a message to the entire world. A message that could either enforce order or ignite something far bigger. So what do you think? Is this a necessary show of strength? Or a step too close to global conflict? comment below. And if you want more deep, real-world breakdowns like this, make sure you subscribe, because the next topic might be even more unexpected.